Hey YouTube. Hey YouTube, what's up? Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Lauren Glassbrenner, and I'm a YouTuber now. I'm here today to talk about something that a lot of people seem to be talking about, the Call Her Daddy podcast. Yes, that's right, Call Her Daddy. I see flags that say Wednesdays are for Call Her Daddy everywhere. My friends tell me Happy Father's Day every Wednesday. And they talk about something called the Gluck Gluck 9000. It just doesn't sound good, okay? I'm here to investigate. I decided that it was time to check out what this Call Her Daddy stuff was all about. So that is what I am here today to do. I am here to tell you what I think of Call Her Daddy. So for those of you who don't know, Call Her Daddy is, like I said, a podcast. It's a faction of what's called Barstool Sports, which is like a sports media, popular culture blog. I don't even know why they call themselves sports really, because they cover everything under the sun. So I got my my Barstool shirt on here, got my backwards hat on here for you guys. I'm a stoolie right now. I'm a daddy. Let's go. Let's get into it. So the Call Her Daddy podcast basically is two women, Alexandra Cooper and Sophia Franklin. They live in New York. They're in their 20s, and it says they quote, exploit the out of their crazy lives, making you feel a hell of a lot better about yours. Basically, they talk in very, very dirty detail about their sex and dating lives. They say, while their advice is rarely healthy, it works. Well, at least they admit it. I checked it all out. Call Her Daddy has a 5.0 star rating of 75,000 reviews on the Apple Podcast app. Sophia Franklin has 121,000 Twitter followers, 585,000 Instagram followers, and Alex Cooper has 175,000 followers on Twitter and 750,000 Instagram followers. So clearly, this podcast is reaching a lot of people after some nudging from my friends saying, you gotta check it out, you gotta be a daddy. I decided to give it a listen. It is amusing to listen to all these crazy things that these girls go through and do, but at the same time, it like set off little red flags in my head. So that's what I'm really here to talk about. They kind of claim Call Her Daddy is supposed to be like feminist and empowering towards women, and like flips the script of gender roles. In the episode Girls He Fucks versus Girls He Dates, they say that, quote, the word daddy is like you're a boss, you're a badass, you're powerful, dominant, in the bedroom specifically. You're in control of your life and in control in the bedroom. So a lot of times that's associated with men. So we're saying, no, girls can be daddy too and men can be daddy too. We're not being like only feminists and only girls can be daddy. No, everyone can be f***ing daddy. However, the majority of the rhetoric that I hear in the podcast does not match that definition. In my opinion, the Call Her Daddy podcast states that it is there to empower women, but in my opinion, it operates under the rules of the patriarchy, which inherently keep women submissive. That's what I'm here to talk about. And I noticed a couple themes throughout these episodes, so that's what I'm gonna kind of dig into and share with you guys. So the first theme I noticed while listening to the podcast is how often the Call Her Daddy girls call themselves crazy or psycho or women crazy or psycho. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Lauren, obviously, we know it's a joke. This is actually ridiculous, you guys. Listen to these quotes. Listen to how often they say it. Yeah, I'm a little bit psycho. I'm hot. I don't deserve that. I wasn't that crazy. Let's turn it over to Sophia to take it up the crazy notch and tell us, when you block them via texting and calling, how can you then move forward and talk to the guys you're talking to? We are absolutely crazy. I don't think we're sitting here happy about it. We're not wearing it as a badge of honor, but we admit girls are out of their mind. Girls are crazy. We're talking about how we're doing crazy and it's kind of crazy, but guys love the crazy. I am on record right now saying men love the crazy. Don't try and tell me you don't, because you fucking do. You can pretend you don't, but you do. You love it. 40s, 50s, maybe they don't love the crazy anymore because they're trying to tie that down. No. I don't care if you're 90 on your deathbed. You like the crazy. It just is what it is, and it's not good. It's not cool. I'm not being like, oh my god, it's so fun. It's f***ed up. We're not proud of the crazy. I just want to start some crazy shit because I'm bored. This is the thing, and this is where you're gonna think I'm really crazy, is that's where you have to catch them because they're off guard and they don't think you're paying attention to their Venmo. This is all from one episode, the first episode. And you're probably thinking, well, Lauren, those are pretty verifiably crazy stories. And I'm not saying they're not crazy stories. But what is problematic is that they are saying that all women are crazy, that all women are like that. And in turn, it says something about how you are able to treat women. It suggests that a lack of rational, well thought out communication is okay and even desired because men love the crazy. It says, listen, if you want to be desirable to men, you have to be crazy. But at the same time, being crazy is not fun, but it's what you need to do to get a man. Dare I say, this ideology spreads past relationships and dating. It says something about how to treat women in general. It says it's acceptable to dismiss a woman's ideas, leadership, contributions because they are inherently irrational. You can say, well, people who do that take it too far. It's just a joke. It's just a funny story. The thing is, people use what they consume as evidence. People will use Call Her Daddy as evidence for how women are. It contributes to their worldview. Even while I was watching, I was thinking, well, shoot, should I be doing this? Call Her Daddy also focuses on other stories about women being irrational, like this example from the episode, You're Just a Hole. Quote, every woman has done it and every woman can attest to doing this. Women asking men to answer a question that they know is going to hurt their feelings. Why do women do that? There's never a good answer. We get this sick craving to get hurt. We want sabotage. We have this sick need. We want to get hurt. We want to be distraught. We want to be sabotaged. They also teach women how to play games, like how to block men and still talk to them via Venmo or MyFitnessPal. This is what Call Her Daddy has to say about men being crazy. Can we just admit that guys can be crazy too? Just a little bit, just in their moment of weakness. Well, okay, maybe it isn't crazy, it's just you're obsessed with yourselves. Call Her Daddy says men are minimally crazy, and only when they're not in their right mind. See, women are inherently always crazy. It's not part of their inherent selves like it is with women. Can I just mention how often Alex and Sophia call women girls and men men? Just listen to all the quotes. Pet peeve. Second theme. Call Her Daddy says that women and men should both be hypersexual and that women's purpose should always be to please men. Okay, here's some examples. From the episode, If You're a 5 or a 6, Die for the Dick. The crazy you can get away with if you're a 9 or a 10 versus if you're a 5 or a 6. The sex you can get away with if you're a 9 or a 10 compared to a 5 or 6. If you're a 9 or a 10, a guy knows he's got to roll out the red carpet. He knows you're not going to just spread your legs. And then they try to dismiss this rating system and how objectifying it is by saying every guy has their definition of a 5 or a 6 versus a 9 or a 10. We're not defining whatever. They go on to glamorize a 5 or a 6 that knows their place. And their place is, because they're not as attractive as a 9 or a 10, then they have to work harder in the bedroom to please a man since their physicality is not attractive enough. This girl was a hard 5. She knew her place. She knew, I am lucky. 9 or 10s, I've got to get her dinner first. We've got to talk about life and her parents and where she came from. So much more to go into, you guys. It's never ending. I also suggest to consider your rating before you choose a college. Don't consider the academics, what program you might want to go for, the cost. No, consider your rating, okay? Going to Arizona State, maybe back in Kansas you were a 9, but now you're a 6, if that. Then, in the episode, You're Just a Hole, you're just trying to You don't give a fuck what her personality is because you're kicking her out after. You have to understand, we always talk about how you're just a whole. Guys only care about the body. I love women. I love their faces. I don't want you cutting a hole in a plastic bag. But the thing is, girls, guys only really care about the body. And so what we suggest you do is take initiative in these situations. Once again, they try to dismiss how degrading this is by saying, not saying all men in the universe. You literally just said all men. All men like the crazy. All men only care about your body. The don't matter. The face has never mattered, let's be honest. The ass matters, and that's all that matters to men these days. Through only talking about these sexual things, they set up the norm to be this way, and the norm to be women needing to please men. With this, they also ignore some other things, like opposite sex friendships that are normal and functioning, non-heterosexual relationships and people, goals, motives that aren't sexual in nature. Now on to my last point. I think that what draws people to call her daddy is this idea of the flipping the script, the idea they present of we are helping women be more powerful so that we can be more equal to men. They're trying to have a little bit of like liberal feminism in there, working their way inside of the system to try to get some equality. And I see that, and I see the draw to that and why it's so popular. But here's the thing. I don't think that Call Her Daddy can fully reach that potential for a couple of reasons. The first being how they actually carry out their podcast, which I've given many examples of. The second is their existence within good old Barstool Sports as a whole here. Barstool Sports has been under fire a lot because they say that they are the media that does what no other media would do. It's like the locker room talk of sports talk, you know, it's what you say to your buddy on a bar stool. It's uncensored, there's no political correctness. Barstool's been under fire a lot for misogyny and for treating women like objects. I think that Call Her Daddy's existence in affiliation with Barstool Sports really also drags down the potential of Call Her Daddy, because Barstool Sports then uses Call Her Daddy to say, look at those women over there at Call Her Daddy, they are the same way as men are. They manipulate, they're crazy, all that kind of stuff. And I would argue that the women in Call Her Daddy would say, oh yeah, we're just like the men at Barstool. We're like the locker room talk of females. We don't censor it. Barstool Sports themselves, and anybody who watches Call Her Daddy for that matter, can use it and use the words that Alex and Sophia say as arguments, and are the same way. They want to degrade men as well, and they want the power to. You can't just throw it back at women like that, because women are structurally and socially oppressed. It's not the same. It's not. Number one, Call Her Daddy can't exist and be successful because of its existence within Barstool Sports. So the Call Her Daddy podcast has to stick to that script that they are producing and that they are getting paid for. The second way is because it's operating in a way that the intellectual bell hooks would say is you're just fighting for the right to oppress. You're just fighting for domination, which isn't going to get us anywhere. Some women, like the Call Her Daddy girls, are seeking equality in the form of this same power. But the problem with that is then we are seeking to be the oppressors as well. As bell hooks says, this norm of oppression, instead of this seeking to gain the power. We don't need to continue in this system. We need a whole new worldview. And I think that the Call Her Daddy podcast is restricted by our worldview right now. Bell Hooks says that feminism hasn't been completely successful because we are existing within this power struggle, when really we just need to blow the whole thing open. Try to look for ways in a new worldview, in a new system. It's hard to conceptualize, and it's going to take a lot of work. Things like blindly consuming Call Her Daddy aren't helping our cause. I really do think that it's dangerous to just blindly consume this podcast and other messages that say things like this, because it's calling you to be this certain persona that is not an accurate representation of you, not an accurate representation of society. Just think about that when you're listening to Call Her Daddy. And just think about that in general. Please don't send the Stoolie Army after me. Please don't send the Daddy Gang after me. Alex, Sophia, you're cool chicks. Keep living that crazy New York life that you want to live. Thanks for watching, folks.